Now, many Chibits were mentioning in the comments last week that there was a new Kai in the Dragon Ball Super opening song. So, of course, I went back after many mentioned it and looked at the new Kai. And as I already discussed in my first impressions of this new arc, Goku Black has a Kai earring, like one of the, fusion earrings. And one thing that really stood out to me is that this episode, Goku Black doesn't seem to be that powerful. Now, hear me out, okay? Now, there is a possibility he could be a powerhouse, but hear me out first. Goku Black in this episode actually seemed to have taken damage from Trunks, powering up into Super Saiyan. And from what we already know, Trunks, he's not at the level of Goku and Vegeta at this time. He's not. And we don't think he can probably achieve Super Saiyan 3. So, Trunks is probably around the same level as he was after the, Cell was defeated. And looking at the way Goku Black got hurt and how he got pushed back, it makes me believe he is really not that strong. But also, I do not believe Goku Black is actually a Saiyan. Or at the very least, whoever is, using Goku Black, or maybe, if, let's say, the body of Goku is being used, that's not a Saiyan. Because the way he acts, his persona, he treats Saiyans completely different. That is one thing that really stands out. He labels Saiyans. He talks about Saiyans multiple times of how he's going to take them down or something. Like how he was talking to Trunks. He was calling him a Saiyan. And it was something very different from how someone else would call it if they were already a Saiyan. So Goku Black, I think, is not a Saiyan. I think he's something else entirely. And most likely he is related to the Kai that's shown in the opening song. Especially with, the earring attached to him. But the main thing is that I wonder exactly who he is and where did he come from. I saw many speculating and theorizing in the comments that there is a possibility Goku Black could be Goten. And to be honest with you, I could see that maybe, but honestly, I don't agree with that. I really don't. I don't believe that's probably what is going on here. But I could be wrong, because we don't really know. We don't have the answers yet. So, overall, Goku Black, we know he isn't, supposedly from what we can already see, a powerhouse. He's not that strong. We know it's not Goku, because Goku died in Trunks' timeline. I mean, if you remember from, the manga or the anime, we know that Goku in that timeline with future Trunks was dead. He died. He's dead as fuck. So, there's no way that is Goku. So, the only way that could be Goku in any way or shape or form is if somehow Goku's body was being used after death. That's it. But the main thing is that it seems like Goku Black just learned how to sense ki. That's one of the main things I noticed after watching this episode, was that he just recently discovered how to use ki. Or not how to use ki, but how to sense ki. Because he was trying to find where Trunks was in the episode and trying to hunt him down, and it kind of showcases that maybe he just learned how to use ki. So I'm curious exactly who this is. I mean, we know he has to be someone pretty damn high up or something, because the way he acts, he seems to be of a person that's in high power, someone that's higher up in status, beyond regular Saiyans. He carries himself like someone like a god. That's kind of how he does, but I highly doubt a god wouldn't be able to sense ki, so there's something else going on here. But besides that, however, talking about other events of this episode, Trunks. So Trunks, he gets out of his timeline and is actually able to come to where the present day timeline is, where Goku and Vegeta is. And he's in critical condition. He's in bad shape, he's wounded, and he needs help. And majority of the episode is spent on mainly 2 plot points. And it was a very slow-paced episode, I have to admit. It wasn't anything spectacular, 10 out of 10. But I did like the way the episode set up the atmosphere / tone for this arc, which I really appreciate. As I already talked about in my last week's episode review, I really love how this arc is setting up a very darker tone than the previous arcs of Dragon Ball Super. It's something I missed from Dragon Ball in general, because I mean, what I loved about Dragon Ball Z was how it was very dark. It had this atmosphere about it, especially of despair. For instance, the Android Saga, Cell Saga, and then, Super Buu and stuff. It added that, dark moments, and I've been missing that from Dragon Ball Super, because there's been a lot of comedy. And I mean, I like my comedy. I love my comedy. Don't get me wrong here, but I do like my serious moments as well, and I'm really glad we're getting one of those type of arcs. And so, majority of this episode, it was there to set up the atmosphere and mood. Now, of course, there was just some comedy moments here and there. In my personal opinion, I'm going to be honest here, it's just my preference, and comedy is subjective, so it comes down to personal taste. I was not a big fan of the comedy used in this episode. I felt like it kind of distracted away from the main tone of this arc, because I felt like this arc should be a little bit more darker than normal, and to keep the atmosphere, you shouldn't be cracking wisecrack jokes of how maybe this Trunks has the same name as, you know, our younger Trunks, and how most likely this is a child that, you know, is like been a hidden brother for so long from, you know, our little Trunks. I wasn't a big fan of the comedy, I really wasn't. I didn't have much laughs from that, but overall, that's just my personal taste, in my opinion. So, yeah, I mean, I did like the episode. It was a good episode, even though it focused just on Trunks coming to our timeline and the senzu beans coming from Goku. It still was a good episode. Now, animation was okay. Art style, it was lacking in some points, I did notice. Now, when it came to Goku Black, however, I noticed that Toei Animation really tried to actually give us some good art animation when Goku Black was on screen. So I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Most likely it's because they know that they need to make these scenes look really good because they're trying to set a different tone up for the arc. So yeah, the episode overall, pretty decent. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about Trunks attacking Goku at the end of the episode? How do you feel about, you know, Mai actually forming a romance with the younger Trunks? I mean, it's kind of weird if you think about it, but I mean, as I already talked about in last week's episode, we already see how that relationship of Mai and Trunks is, you know, forming in the future, so it's already forming here, so that's definitely happening. If you're denying it or didn't think it was happening, it's right in front of our face now. It is actually indeed happening. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.